Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Good morning and welcome to the Malaysian Investment Development Authority MIDA webinar on Smart Automation Grant SAG under Pelan Jana Semula Ekonomi Negara Penjana, which was launched recently. Thank you for joining our webinar today. My name is Khairul Amir Rais from the Food Technology and Resource-Based Industries MIDA, and I am very honored to be your MC for today. Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin, I would like to make a few housekeeping announcements. Our program today will start with welcoming remarks by Puan Masni Mohammed, Director of Strategic Planning and Policy Advocacy Manufacturing MIDA, followed by the presentation on Smart Automation Grant and also the Q&A session. For the Q&A session, it will only be open after the presentation. But then you can start posting your questions now in the Q&A box in the Zoom platform. And questions, we will try to answer your question as much as possible after the presentation. And the slides and recording of this webinar will be made available at MIDA website. All right, ladies and gentlemen, for today's event, I would like to invite Puan Masni Mohammed, Director of Strategic Planning and Policy Advocacy Manufacturing MIDA, to deliver her remarks. Dipersilakan, Puan Masni.
Thank you, Amir. Assalamualaikum and good morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for joining us and participating in this webinar on Smart Automation Grant. Secondly, as many of us are currently under the Movement Control Order 2.0, beginning today for 2 weeks, I wish everyone is staying safe at home or wherever you are. And let's play our part in fighting this COVID-19. Ladies and gentlemen, recognizing SMEs as the backbone of Malaysia's economy, which makes up to 98% of the establishments of businesses in Malaysia, the government continues to assist and support SMEs and mid-tier companies to cushion the impact of the pandemic. In this regard, the government in June 2020 has announced an allocation of 100 million ringgit Malaysia for the Smart Automation Grant Initiative under the National Economic Recovery Plan Penjana. The objective of SAG, among others, is to assist and incentivize SMEs and mid-tier companies in the manufacturing and services sectors to automate and digitalize their operations, production, and trade channels. The SAG will be given on a matching basis of 1-to-1 up to a maximum of 1 million ringgit Malaysia per company for capital investment in automation machinery, equipment, and software. The digitalization and automation process are two important components that could be a push factor in speeding up operation process, reducing errors, and increase productivity. Hence, it is the government's hope that many companies can embark and expedite your transformation towards digitalization and automation so that your business remains sustained amidst the unprecedented weather storm and gain competitive advantage in the market. We are pleased that there is so much interest in SAG. So in today's session, we will share with all of you the guidelines and procedures for SAG applications, which are available for application received by MIDA from 4th December 2020 to 31st December 2021. Our goal is for all of you to walk away understanding how SAG works and how to submit your application. We encourage you to participate in the Q&A session later, and we will try to take as many questions as we can. Before I end my remarks, I would like to highlight that MIDA will continue in our efforts to assist and facilitate industry players in your automation and digitization journey. We encourage the industry to take advantage of MIDA's facilities, grants, and incentives to upscale your business today. Thank you.
Thank you, Puan Masni, for the welcoming remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to remind all of you that you can now post your questions in the Q&A box in the Zoom platform, and we will answer your question right after the presentation. All right, ladies and gentlemen, may I now invite Encik Muhammad Asra Shaharom, Senior Assistant Director of Strategic Planning and Policy Advocacy Manufacturing MIDA, to deliver his briefing on Smart Automation Grant. Silakan Encik Muhammad Asra.
Yeah, Assalamualaikum and very good morning to all participants for today's webinar on Smart Automation Grant under Penjana. So for the presentation today, myself, Muhammad Asrar Shahrum from Strategic Planning and Policy Advocacy Division, MIDA, will share with you the guidelines as well as the procedures for the Smart Automation Grant in MIDA. Okay, first of all, what is Smart Automation Grant? So basically, the Smart Automation Grant was introduced under the Plan Jana Semula Ekonomi Negara Penjana in June 2020 and was launched by our YB Senior Minister of MITI on 2nd December year 2020. Under Penjana, the government has allocated RM 100 million for this SAG initiative. Under MIDA, the Smart Automation Grant will be given on a matching basis, which is 1-to-1, based on eligible expenditures up to a maximum grant of RM 1 million per company. For example, if the cost of the automation machine is RM 100,000, under this SAG grant, MIDA will match 1-to-1, meaning that MIDA will pay RM 50,000 and the company will pay RM 50,000 for the said machine. Okay, the main objectives of the Smart Automation Grant are, among others, to assist as well as incentivize the SMEs and the mid-tier companies to automate and digitalize your operation, production and trade channels, to improve efficiency in the manufacturing and services sector, to reduce reliance on low-skilled foreign workers, as well as to enhance the SME competitiveness at international level. Okay, now I will share with you what are the eligibility criteria for this SAG grant. First, you must be incorporated under the Companies Act. Second, your effective equity must be at least 51% owned by Malaysian, meaning that for foreign-owned companies is not eligible for this SAG grant. You must have a valid business license from the local authority. Your company must engage in either manufacturing activity, which is in compliance with the ICA, Industrial Connection Act 1975, or you must engage in services activities which must be regulated by acts or specific acts or regulations or governed by the relevant ministries and agencies. And this grant, SAG grant, is only eligible for SMEs and mid-tier companies only. And your company must be in operation for at least 12 months in order to enjoy this incentive. So for new established company, you are not eligible, since we want to give this grant to company that have a good track record in terms of financial track record and also production track record. And your company must meet at least one of the committed deliverables, which will be explained in my next slide. So here are the committed deliverables under this SAG grant. We have 6 deliverables. 4 deliverables for manufacturing, meant for manufacturing companies, and 2 deliverables meant for services companies. And you are required to meet at least one, to meet at least one of these deliverables in order to be approved or to be enjoyed for this grant. The first committed deliverables is reduction of unskilled workers. Okay, here we want to measure the percentage of reduction of workers after the usage of the automation machine or automation equipment that you have bought using the SAG grant. The second deliverable is reduction in man hours. Here we want to gauge the percentage the percentage reduction in working hours after the utilization of the new automation machine that you bought using this grant. The third deliverable is increase in production volume. Here we want to measure the percentage increase in your production volume as a result of the new automation machine that you bought by using this grant. And the fourth deliverable for the manufacturing sector is quality improvement. Here we want to measure the percentage reduction of defect rate as a result of the new automation machine or equipment or software that you bought using this grant. So that's the committed deliverable for manufacturing sector. If you are a company in services sector, there are two committed deliverables, which are as follows. The first one is increase in services delivery. Here we want to measure the percentage increase in services delivery as a result of the usage of the automation equipment. And the second deliverable for services sector is reduction of man hours in delivering services. And that's all the committed deliverables for SAG grant that you need to meet at least one in order for you to be approved for this grant. So we will check this achievement during our audit visit to your company later on. Okay. Next, I will share with you what are the eligible expenditures under this SAG grant. The first, the eligible expenditures refers to the automation machine or equipment or softwares that are used directly in the overall value chain of manufacturing and services activities. While for non-eligible expenditures, among others, the purchase or rental of land, building, office, vehicle or furniture, rental of the automation machine, equipment or software, purchase or rental of second-hand or refurbished automation machine, maintenance and repair costs, wages or salaries, employee benefits program, legal and stamp duty, insurance, collateral or loan, office expenses and supplies, utility expenses, R&D expenses, and also advertising and marketing expenses. Okay, what is next? I will share with you the process workflow for Smart Automation Grant in MIDA. The application process are as follows. Okay, as you can see in the slide presentation, so the first application for Smart Automation Grant is submitted to MIDA. Okay, we will submit application to us, and then we will evaluate the application based on the eligibility criteria. And if your company meet all the criteria, you will be invited to present or to pitch your grant proposal at our pitching session, which is called as SAG Approval Committee, SAGAC, which will be convened in MIDA. So, and then based on your proposal, the approval committee, the SAGAC committee, will make decision to approve or reject your application. Okay, once approved by SAGAC, you will receive the approval letter and the grant agreement from MIDA, from us, and you need to sign the grant agreement within 30 days. And after that, you may purchase and install the automation machine or equipment or software that you apply in your premise. Then after you install the machine and manage to achieve at least one of the committed deliverable, you need to come to MIDA to apply for the disbursement of grant, and you need to submit this disbursement within 6 months from the approval date. Okay, after that, after we receive your disbursement application or your claim submission, MIDA will conduct an audit visit to your company, to your premise, and report the audit findings to the disbursement committee, which we call JPBG Committee on Coordination and Disbursement of Grant. And then this committee will approve, and once approved by this committee, MIDA will disburse the grant to you. Okay, that's the overall process flow of the SAG grant in MIDA. I also would like to highlight a few important information. Before submitting application to MIDA, you may also join a special acceleration program with our selected panel banks to help in refining your knowledge and on automation and digitalization. On top of that, you may also apply for higher purchase financing from our panel banks in order to purchase the automation machine or equipment or software that you apply. And for your information, the effective date of this grant is from 4 December 2020 until 31st December this year, 2021. Okay, next, I will share with you what are the documents needed for this Smart Automation Grant in MIDA. So you are required to submit the following documents to MIDA. The first one, the application form itself, okay, which is available in our MIDA website. In next slide, I will show you where's the form can be downloaded in our website. Okay, together with this application form, you need to attach the latest audited financial statement together with the application form. Other than that, you need to also submit the latest SSM company profile, the e-info, together with this application form, a copy of the business license from the local authority, a copy of the ML, the manufacturing license, or the letter of exemption from the ML from MIDA, and this is applicable for manufacturing company. While for services company, you need to attach a copy of license or permit or support letter from the relevant ministry or agency. And these documents should be submitted or courier to our HQ office in MIDA Central in Kuala Lumpur. Okay. So in this slide, I will show you how to get the documents, how to download the documents, especially the application form. So it is very easy. Just go to our website, okay, www.mida.gov.my. Okay, at the front page of our MIDA website, just click the form and guideline links, which is available at the top right corner of MIDA of the MIDA front page website. Okay, and then at the form and guideline page, okay, you need to click Penjana Incentive and Grants. Penjana Incentive and Grant link at the left side of the page. Okay, that's the second step. And the third step, at the Penjana Incentive and Grant page, you will see list of incentive and grants under the Penjana processed by MIDA. So here you just need to click the Smart Automation Grant link for you to see and download the application form as well as the guidelines and process workflow for the Smart Automation Grant, which is available in our MIDA website. Okay, how to contact us? So if you have further inquiries on this SAG grant, you may reach us via email at this address, investmeasure@mida.gov.my, or you can also call us at 0322673444, or you may contact directly our officers in the manufacturing and services division from our staff directory. For instance, if you are a company producing chemical products, you may directly contact our officers in chemical division staff directory. Other than that, after MCO finish, you are also invited to come to our Business Information Center, BIC, at our HQ office in KL Central, Kuala Lumpur, or our MIDA state office in each state in Malaysia to obtain our direct consultation regarding this grant. I think that's all from me. I hope this sharing session will benefit you and able to provide valuable information and also insight on what SAG is all about. And for that, thank you very much.
Thank you, Cik Asra, for the presentation on Smart Automation Grant. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the Q&A session. I can see there's a lot of questions in the Q&A box. We will try to answer your questions, as many as possible, within these 30 minutes of time given during this Q&A session. All right, for the Q&A session, I would like to introduce our panelists for today. First one is Puan Masni Muhammad, again, Director of Strategic Planning and Policy Advocacy Manufacturing MIDA. Second one, Puan Zuaida Abdullah, Director of Strategic Planning and Policy Advocacy Services MIDA. All right. And the third one is our presenter just now, Encik Muhammad Asra Shaharom, Senior Assistant Director of Strategic Planning and Policy Advocacy Manufacturing MIDA. These are the three panelists that will answer today's question. All right, I will read some of the questions that we have got from the Q&A box. I think the first one would be to Puan Masni. Puan Masni, company previously operating in Klang Valley, subsequently company has relocated to other state. Does the requirement of operating at least 12 months start from the new location, or how does it go, Puan Masni?
Yeah, May. If we look at the eligibility criteria presented by Asra earlier, item number 6 mentioned in operation for at least 12 months. Yeah? So what we meant by 12 months is actually based on the establishment. So it doesn't matter if you have just started in location B or location A, as long as a company you have started your operation within 12 months, so we will accept and consider your applications.
All right, thank you, Puan Masni. Okay, I got this interesting question. This question, I would like Puan Zuaida to answer the question. What are the differences between Smart Automation Grant offered by MIDA and also Smart Automation Grant offered by MDEC? Puan Zuaida, please.
Yeah, thank you, Abe, for the question. Okay, regarding the SAG under MDEC, yeah, if you refer to the MDEC website, they are also offering SAG to services sector, and the targeted subsectors are also similar to MIDA. But when we look at the type of equipment and eligible expenses, their focus is towards digitalization of business process, while for MIDA is on automation of services operation. And then in terms of eligible equipment and expenses, MIDA covers automation machinery equipment and also software which embedded in the machinery and equipment which used in providing the services. Whereas for MIDA, for MDEC, it allows only IT equipment or cost of software, yeah? And also some of the OPEX related to the automation, such as license and certification fees. So I just give one example for warehousing activities. Okay, equipment that covers under SAG MIDA is the automated guided vehicles to transport the materials and inventory within the warehouse facilities. Whereas for MDEC, maybe the item like real-time inventory management to provide the end-to-end visibility of inventory and operational intelligence through the data that sensors that collect in the sensors.
So can the company apply both of the SAG, Puan Zuaida, under MIDA and also under MDEC?
Okay, the answer is yes, as long as the assets and expenditure are different.
Thank you, Puan Zaida. I think, okay, the next question I would like to ask Encik Muhammad Asra, our presenter just now. What will be the alternative way of submission the application, Encik Asra, since we are just entering the MCO?
Okay, the alternative submission for this smart automation grant, we also accept submission via email, meaning that companies need to download first the form and then fill in the form, the hard copy form, and then scan, and then you need to sign the form, and then you need to scan the application form, and then email to us. So we also accept this kind of submission through email. And on top of that, we are currently developing online platform for this SAG submission, meaning that later on we expect in middle of this in March or middle of this year, we will be able to launch this online platform so that companies later on can submit the application online. So there are 3 ways: hard copy, email submission, and later on we will now developing online submission for this application.
Okay, if the company would like to email the application, Asra, do they still need to send the hard copies? Do you still need the hard copies, or by email is just enough?
Okay, you need to email to invest to our email, our official email at investmation@mida.gov.my. So yes, the official the hard copy, the actual document is also you need to send a courier to MIDA for our file.
Thank you, Cik Asra. The next question I would like to ask Puan Masni. Puan Masni, can company without ML apply for ML and SAG concurrently?
Okay, all right. One of the requirements for smart automation grant application is having manufacturing license, or you also can get exemption letter from MIDA if you are under the threshold of manufacturing license requirement, which is 75 workers and 2.5 million paid up capital. So if you don't have any of these, you can submit both application concurrently. As you submit your smart automation grant application, you can submit application for your ML. So we will process this concurrently.
And how long does it take for MIDA to process ML and also SAG? One must be.
Our ML is quite fast. We have this 2 days ML approval process. You can do your submission online. So in a week or less than a week, you can get your approval for manufacturing license. For smart automation, our client charter is 6 weeks. Yeah. From the date of your submission of application, provided that it's a quality submission. All documentations are in order, all informations are correct. So that will be our client charter, 6 weeks.
All right. Thank you, Puan Masni. Next question, I would like to ask Puan Zaida. Could you please elaborate on the requirement for supporting letter by the regulatory ministries or agencies? What are the letters that you need, Puan Zaida?
Okay, regarding the supporting letter for services sector, actually companies that already have license, permit or registration from the relevant regulators, they don't have to provide the supporting letter. You know, a supporting letter is only needed when your services activities are under purview of the specific ministry, but you don't have to register your activities with that ministry. So what you need to do is you just get the support letter, which comprises information that the company's activities is governed under the ministries, And then the ministry is very supportive with the automation initiative undertaken by the company. I just give an example on the R&D companies, because some of the R&D companies, maybe they get an approval letter from MIDA in terms of status or R&D incentive. But let's say that this company, they undertake R&D activities, but they don't have any approval from MIDA. MOSTI is the the regulator, but they don't issue any approval letter to R&D companies. So this company, they need to get the support letter from MOSTI. Okay.
All right, thank you, Puan Zahida. Back to Puan Masni. Puan Masni, I can see there's a few questions here asking about the acceleration program. So what is the acceleration program, and what are the panel banks under the acceleration program, Puan Masni?
Okay, acceleration program is actually a collaboration between MIDA and selected banks. Currently, we have 3 banks that we are currently working with, MBank, Public Bank, and MIDF. Of course, in the future, we plan to work with more banks so that we will expedite this automation and digitalization journey for all our industry players. So basically what we do is we work with the banks on top of clarifying the technical requirement of Smart Automation Grant, as well as facilitating companies in understanding what needed to be done in their digitization and automation process. And at the same time to bridge companies with the bank so that they'll be able to get financing. So that is what that is what our collaboration with this panel bank is all about.
So far they have 3 banks for the panel bank under the acceleration program, Puan Masni?
Yes, this is for now, but in the future we plan to work with more banks. And at the same time, we plan not only to work on SAG, but also with our other types of grant, for example, our domestic investment strategic funds, which are also available for domestic companies to upscale their businesses.
Thank you, Puan Masni. Back to Encik Asra. All right, Encik Asra, in your presentation slide, you mentioned one of the criteria for the SAG is the company must be SMEs and also MTCs. So what are the definition of SMEs and MTCs used by MIDA in Smart Automation Grant?
Okay, yes, this grant is only applicable or eligible for the SMEs and mid-tier companies. So we have actually defined the definition of SME and MTCs in our guideline, which is available in our MIDA website. So based on the guideline, so SME definition for manufacturing sector is defined as companies yang ada sales turnover not exceeding RM50 million, or employees not exceeding 200 people. And for MTCs definition for manufacturing companies with sales turnover from RM50 million to RM500 ringgit, RM500 million. And for the services companies, for SME, the sales turnover not exceeding RM20 million, or employee not exceeding 75 workers. The definition of MTC for services sector is defined as sales turnover, is defined as companies with a sales turnover from RM20 million to RM500 million. For details, I suggest I recommend you to refer. I recommend the applicant, the eligible applicant or potential applicant, to refer to our guidelines for further information.
All right, Encik Asra, the costs that can be covered under the grant, does training and installation costs are covered?
Okay. For the training costs, it is not covered under this grant. And for the installation costs, installation costs for which for the specific machine, which we will it can be considered. We will need to further check the installation, the installation costs related, whether it is related to the machine itself or not. So that one it can be considered, but we need to further we need to refer to the documents or the invoices before we can recommend for approval.
All right. How about software annual subscription fee? Does it cover it? Because some of the machines, they come with software. Then software you have to subscribe yearly, or then does it cover under this grant, Chasra?
This grant is only one time payment for the subscription. We can consider only first for the one time only lah, for the first one, for the first maybe the initial subscription, but not for the subsequent years.
So means that we only cover for the first subscription year only lah, Cik Asra. Is it true? Is it correct?
Correct.
All right. Thank you, Cik Asra. Puan Masni, there's a question, can imported machinery and equipment be considered under SAG, or only machine locally assembled or locally made can be considered?
Okay, so the straight answer is yes. We allow for you to import your machinery and equipment or software, but definitely we encourage company to give priority to Malaysian company, Malaysian supplier, and Malaysian producers of equipment, because we need to support our domestic economy. But of course, we do understand that some equipment and machineries or software are not available locally. Yes, we do consider imported items in this smart automation grant application.
Puan Masni, can the company apply for if they have committed the purchase of the machines? Means that if they have already PO or invoices, can they apply for the grant, or when the grant started? Or
the ruling is for any grant application, you need to submit your application first. Okay, we will not cover the expenses made before you make your submission to MIDA. So any expenses incurred prior to submission of your application for ACG or even any other grants under our purview will not be covered. Yeah, we will not make the payment or reimbursement.
So it means that company have to submit the application first, get the approval, then only can they buy the machinery and equipment. Puan Masni.
Yes.
Thank you, Puan Masni. Next question to Puan Zuaida. Can the company appointed foreign technology solutions provider for the system or equipment, Puan Zuaida, or only local technology solutions provider?
Okay, same answer like Puan Masni just now. We have no restriction if company wants to appoint foreign technology solution providers, but the priority needs to be given to our local providers. And just to inform, actually we have iServices portal in our website. If you can, we would like to encourage companies to refer to the list of local service providers which registered in our iServices portal. And company can register as user to get the list, because iServices portal is a platform to connect the service providers with the user of the service providers.
Puan Masni, there's a question here. What are the differences between this smart automation grant and also industry forward grant, for example, like an Industry Forward Intervention Fund or Industry Forward DSF, Masni?
Okay, Industry Forward Intervention Fund, if we call it, is meant for those company who has gone through the readiness assessment program. Okay, those company who have gone readiness assessment program under MARI, SIRIM, there are a few more SSO, can apply for intervention fund. Okay, the intervention fund is given of up to 500,000. So the quantum is smaller than Smart Automation Grant. And but although it's smaller, intervention fund gives upfront payment. Okay, 30% of that grant will be given upfront to the company. And in terms of ratio, it is actually 70-30. Under Smart Automation Grant, it's 1-to-1, meaning that if you spend 10 ringgit on your machine, we will pay you 5 ringgit. Okay, but for intervention fund, the ratio is 70-30. Okay, meaning that if you spend 10 ringgit, the government will subsidy 7 ringgit. And out of that 7 ringgit, 3 ringgit will be given upfront. Okay, the quantum is smaller, but it comes with an upfront payment. And you need to go through a readiness assessment program. In terms of coverage of, in terms of the scope, I think Smart Automation covers automation equipment. Whereas for intervention fund, it's only applicable for your digitalization exercise, as per the recommendation made by the assessing bodies. So that's the difference. Okay.
All right. There's another question for Masni. If a company currently enjoying other incentives from IDA or other grants from IDA, can they also apply for SAG?
Yes, currently we have a number of grants, domestic investment strategic funds, which I've mentioned earlier. The quantum for domestic investment strategic fund is way much higher, which is at RM 10 million. It's applicable to all domestic company with 51% equity, Malaysian equity ownership. And then we have intervention fund, which I've explained earlier, and Smart Automation Fund. So, oh my God, I forgot. What was the question earlier?
If they are enjoying other incentives or other grants from
okay. All right. So these 3 types of grant has a different agenda. Okay. Basically, the rule of thumb is you cannot enjoy the same grant for the same asset. Okay. If you have enjoyed one machine, for example, CNC machine, under domestic investment strategic fund, then you cannot apply for Smart Automation Grant for the same machine. Okay, you have to apply for another types of machine, automation machine, maybe for your packaging line, not for the same CNC machine. Okay, is that clear?
Right. Yes.
All right.
Okay, Encik Asra, could you please explain about the procedures and documents required for the pitching session? Most of the companies here are interested in the pitching session.
Okay, basically we are at this moment finalizing SOP, the procedures for this pitching session. Okay, we will share once we have finalized in our website. But in overall, I would say the pitching session, MIDA will first invite the successful applicant to this pitching session, and then in the invitation via email, we will send to the successful applicant the template of slide presentation. So here companies need to use this template of PowerPoint during the presentation at the pitching session to the committee, at the SAG approval committee. So at the presentation or the pitching session, companies will be given 10 minutes to present their project to the SAG approval committee, and then another 5 minutes will be Q&A. So total 15 minutes for each companies to pitch or to present their project to the SAG approval committee. Okay. So due to these MCOs, so we are looking to allow only one rep, one company's rep to attend this session, this pitching session. So others details of SOP we will finalize and we will update in our website under the Smart Automation Grant under Penjana page in our MIDA website.
All right, Cik Asra. What are the maximum cap per company that can be for this grant?
Okay, based on the announcement by the Minister of Finance, so as this SAG under MIDA, we will the maximum cap is RM 1 million per company. Okay, so it's 1 million per company. That's the maximum. However, it is subject to the SAG approval committee final decision.
Can the company apply several times, or they can only apply one time only, Jasra?
Yes, they can. This fund is available until 31st December 2021, end of this year. So yes, we will open for several submission.
Will there be any technical expertise to assess the equipment, whether it is automation or not, Asra?
Yes, we have engaged with, for example, SIRIM. So we will be on top of that. There are other technical expertise and other government agencies will be sit in this SAG approval committee to review this project, to review this application, and to help MIDA to give to make the decision to approve or to approve the project.
Thank you, Encik Asra. Puan Masni, is there any quantum or minimum threshold for a company to commit on the deliverables, Puan Masni?
Okay. All right, before I answer that question, Amir, I just want to add on to earlier question posed to Asra on whether the company can apply second submission. Yes. Okay, so the requirement for this grant, you have to complete the program within 12 months. Okay, so from the day of your approval letter, assuming that you are approved with this grant, assuming it's today, then we have to complete the program within 12 months. So before you complete your program for the first approval, you cannot apply for the second submission. Okay, to be fair to other companies, please complete your program first and make your submission for claim submission. And then we will do the reimbursement. Only after that you can do your second submission, because the fund is quite limited. So to be fair to everyone, we have to complete your 12 months program. Okay, and then coming back to the pitching session, yes, we are finalizing the SOPs, and don't worry, we will call for a pitching session if once you are invited to attend the pitching session. We will organize for a pre-pitching briefing before you go and pitch your application to the panelists. Okay, so coming back to your question on the committed deliverables, the number of committed deliverables presented by Asra earlier, reduction of unskilled workers, reduction in man hours, increase in production volume, reduction in defects, increase in services delivery, as well as reduction in man hours in delivering your services. So for now, we don't have any minimum threshold. As long as you can prove that there is a percentage reduction in at least one of these deliverables, we will consider your application. Please bear in mind that we will audit you if you say that at this point of time, prior to your submission, you will require 10 unskilled workers to do a certain task. So once you have been approved with the grant and you have made your purchase, you must prove to us that for that particular process, you have reduced your number of workers by a certain percentage. So I think that is very critical. That is what we will look at when we do the audit process. Okay.
What happened if we found out that they could not achieve what they are committed deliverables to Puan Masni?
Then we will not make the payment. We will not reimburse the purchase the expenses that they have incurred for that machine equipment.
If that happens, is there any avenue that they could appeal?
Okay, my advice is please be careful in making your commitment, because this is what we will be looking at in our audit. So we expect the company to fulfill these requirements, these deliverables. But of course, we do understand there will be some issues in the implementation of your program. So you need to come back to the committee and let the committee decide whether we can continue with the grant approval or we will withdraw. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Puan Masni. I think we have come to our last question to Puan Zuaida. Puan Zuaida, is there any appointed person in charge in the respective ministries or agencies to inquire about the supporting letter just now that you mentioned for services sector, Puan Zuaida?
Sorry, regarding the person in charge, actually MIDA is in the midst of engaging all the regulators, ministries, to provide the understanding on the requirement of the supporting letter. So later, we will provide the information in terms of contact person in our website. But I just want to reiterate again that supporting letter is only needed if you don't have any certificate, registration, approval, permit, license from the regulators. If you already have that documents, you can straight away apply this SAG grant.
Puan Zuaida, another question. Puan Zuaida, is public listed company eligible to apply, Puan Zuaida?
Here, okay, based on the guideline, we mentioned that the company is incorporated, and the main criteria for this grant actually is for mid-tier companies and SMEs. Yeah, so the public listed, I think they don't meet this one of the requirement, the eligibility criteria.
Is there any other grant for the public listed company, Puan Zuaida?
Okay, for public listed company, maybe they can apply domestic investment strategic fund, because in that under that DISF, the requirement for the DISF, we just mentioned about companies incorporated, but we don't target certain specific category like mid-tier and small scale companies.
Okay. All right, thank you, Puan Zuaida, for the answer. I think we have mostly covered the questions here. And I think, is there any last word from Puan Masni before we end the Q&A session, Puan Masni?
Okay. Our last word is please explore these grants. We look forward to accept your submission. Currently, we already received 11 applications from the industry, and we plan to have our first smart automation pitching session end of this month. So I guess we will see you there. Yep.
All right, thank you, Puan Masni. Puan Zuaida, any last word before we end the Q&A session?
Okay, from me, because I'm from Planning Services Division, I would like to encourage all services companies which eligible to apply for these grants to come to MIDA and apply, because you know that some of the grants under DISF and intervention fund, not all services company can qualify. So please submit your application to MIDA.
Thank you, Puan Zaida. We very look forward for the services company to apply for this SAG. Is there any last word from Encik Asra before we end the session, Encik Asra?
Feel free to contact us if you need further clarification. We will share the slides in our website, and there is a contact details there. So feel free to contact us, and I think so.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very thank you to our panelists for today, Puan Masni, Puan Zaida, and also Encik Asra. And we have come to the end of our webinar for today. And we would like to thank all of you for your participation in joining this webinar virtually today. If you have any inquiries or post-event inquiries, you may email to us later. We will show you the email address. And today's presentation and also video recording will be made available at MIDA website later on. And we also encourage companies to engage MIDA Industries Division prior to submission of their SAG applications by referring to MIDA's directory available at MIDA website. And should you need more guidance or any inquiries related to our organization, you may reach out any of our nearest MIDA state offices. All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We hope to see you again soon. Jaga diri, jaga SOP. All right, kita jaga kita. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.